Top of the afternoon, straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Please hit the like button, sub to the channel if you're not a member. Also hit the notifications so that you're able to get all of my content as well as all of my videos. I want to give a shout out to all of my subs, both my old subs, my day ones, and as well as my new subs too. Appreciate y'all rocking with me, and I also want to give a shout out to the whole LDBC, Lions Den, both basketball as well as boxing communities. In this case, we are talking hoops. Okay, now this game right here is very important between the Lakers and as well as the Warriors. Okay, and when we're talking about the ninth and the 10th seed, there's many things that could play out. Um, Listen, I do feel like the Lakers are under the most pressure. Okay, some people might say that the pressure, from a pressure standpoint, is pretty much equal, but I don't really see it that way. Okay, uh, the Lakers are under a lot more pressure for the simple fact that there are a lot of things at stakes here, especially when we talk about legacy. Okay, we're talking about the legacy of LeBron James, of course, and then also we got to look at it from a standpoint of the organization too, going forward. What needs to be done? Uh, the Lakers this season against the what's up, Brown Sugar? I see you in the building. The Lakers this season against the Warriors are they have a losing record against them. They're 1-2. Okay, so it's a must win situation for the Lakers, and then also what Paul Pierce was saying this morning on Undisputed was very true. Okay, they don't want to see a team like the Warriors in the play-in, so they have to win. This game. If they end up losing this game, then they could potentially end up facing them in the playoff, and you don't want to run into that type of situation. Um, Me myself personally, from an entertainment standpoint, I think it would be great. Uh, both of these teams are fighting for their play-in lives. Okay, really their playoff lives now. Because that's what's at stakes at this point in time. Um, do I believe that both teams are going to come out very competitive, firing on all cylinders? Yeah, because both of these teams they want to get in those spots. When we talk about the well, potentially the seventh and the eighth spots. When we talk about the play in, depending on who loses and who wins. Okay. I noted that there was a question that was asked. I think somebody had asked. I forgot who it was that asked this question, but they were asking if you're the Lakers. What's up with it, Ted? I see you in here, man. We're talking about your squad, man. Talking about the Lakers. Um, a question was asked: who would the Lakers rather face in the first round? Okay, and I think Keyshawn Johnson has said you want to go ahead and you want to face Denver now, so you won't have to face them later. Now, at first, I was like, man, what's Keyshawn smoking? But I understood what he was saying. He wants to go ahead and get them out of the way early because as you go later in the playoffs and stuff, there's a lot of things that might could potentially end up happening, such as injuries and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. And on top of that, we also got to think about the fatigue factor on that too. Yeah, he made very good sense. Now, Paul Pierce, what he was looking at Ted, was the fact that you don't want to see the Lakers don't want to see the Warriors in the playoffs or in the play-in. I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that because if you see them in the play-in, then it's going to be you're going to be under more pressure. And 9 times out of 10, now Keyshawn did bring up the fact about um, LeBron being. I think LeBron all in closeout games. If I'm not mistaken, his record is 41-13. Pretty good record. Pretty good record. Can't even argue there about the closeout games with LeBron or whatever. Um, and then of course, they brought out with he brought up the fact about the play in. He was saying that he hasn't lost in the play in, which I do understand. So we have to look at it from that standpoint too. But also, I am looking at it as the Lakers being under more pressure. Pressure is something that it really has to be taken into account. The Warriors, yeah, are they under pressure? Yeah, they're under pressure to get it done and stuff, but 9 times out of 10, they're probably not going to break up that Warriors team, especially what I'm getting ready to talk about in just a minute with the whole Klay Thompson and Draymond Green uh, interview, or Klay Thompson being on Draymond's podcast or whatnot. But I do feel that what's going to end up taking place. I think the Warriors might end up getting them. Yeah, yeah, you're exactly right. The pressure of being a Laker is pressure in itself. You're exactly right. I can't even argue with you there. Much less being that okay. LeBron, of course, he's fighting for a fifth championship. Uh, Also, you're gonna have to, fight for the media. And I know some people they sit up here and they talk about, oh yeah, well, these guys go home at the end of the day. LeBron's a billionaire, Anthony Davis is a millionaire, and stuff like that. However, you know what? I'm not gonna hold anybody, right? But I will say this, right? When they say a statement like that, nah, they would actually be capping in a lot of ways because LeBron does care about legacy. He does want to get another ring. I'm pretty sure Anthony Davis wants to get another ring. I feel like Anthony Davis has gotten sick of the criticism. He's gotten sick of people calling him this and calling him that. And I think that that's why Anthony Davis has really, really been balling this season. Besides, the little eye situation, and maybe two other games in which he sat out. Other than that, Anthony Davis is the best player on that team. Okay, and so he wants to let it be known, and he wants to play like that, and he wants to pretty much dissolve all the criticism about that. Well, the way that you're going to do that is by, not only winning, but winning in the fashion to where you can actually stay in the game. You said even Snoop roasted AD. Yeah, everybody was on AD's helmet. I mean, the whole entire LDBC was on AD's helmet. I mean, just look if you look at over the past couple years, he was the butt of jokes and the butt of memes, and of course, Fox and First Take pretty much they stole from brothers like Ticket and stole from Too Raw and stole from all these other content creators about AD not always being missing in action and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't ESPN doing. They never really pointed that out. The only thing that they would say is, "Oh yeah, he's always hurt and stuff like that." But then you notice Stephen A. Smith started saying always dressed and all that other stuff. He stole from us, okay? But I'm not going to get into that, all right? I'm definitely not going to get into that. We already know, they try to come down here and they try to, dance with the wolves, so to speak. You said Anthony Davis is a human pinata every time he gets hit. Something, yeah, but not this season though. Uh, I actually, Anthony Davis. When he was at Kentucky, I like that Anthony Davis. You know what I'm saying? But people had to understand, too. I'm not making no excuses for Anthony Davis. You do got to be a little bit tougher, just like he's doing this season. However, he did have a late growth spurt. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that could take. That's a hard thing to get adjusted to sometimes. But at the same time, I'm glad he's at where he's at in his career. You know what I'm saying? Anthony Davis is a good talent, man. It's just his mentality. He's starting to know. Okay, I'm a Laker. I have to. My mentality's got to be different. Man, when you get around guys like James Worthy, Magic Johnson, Robert Horry, who was once a Laker, of course. I'm pretty sure Shaquille O'Neal has been in his ear. You know, guys are really talking to him. I'm pretty sure when Kobe was alive, was constantly talking to him. I'm pretty sure he has talks with, especially a lot of the bigs that have played for the organization. Let's the NBA is a fraternity. Let's not act like these guys don't go down, go and have lunch with these guys. These guys don't go to each other's houses, have talks with them, don't socialize on social media, things of that nature. I'm pretty sure that Anthony Davis has had talks with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm pretty sure he's picked his brain. I'm pretty sure he's picked Magic Johnson's brain. I'm pretty sure he's picked Worthy's brain, Byron Scott's brain, everything. What it means to really truly be a Laker. You know what I'm saying? And I can see the growth in Anthony Davis. Now, another thing that has lit a fire um, in his, so far, I think it's been pause, Joe Dumars. You know, you said AD and Victor are top two defensive player this season. Yeah, you can't forget about Rudy Gobert either, though. You know what I'm saying? I can't even argue with Rudy Gobert this time around. But Rudy Gobert, remember, he said that give it to Victor Wembanyama, because he was saying that Victor Wembanyama probably won't get it again, which I think is cap, especially if Victor Wembanyama really he has yet to sniff his prime and he's already getting a lot of blocks. So can you imagine if Victor Wembanyama, by the time he's in his fifth or sixth year in the league and he's blocking shots at a at a big rate, right? Yeah, that's his fourth. Yeah, that's I no, I thought that would be. I think that would. I thought he was two-time defensive player. I thought it would be in the third. I have to look at that one. But either way, it will be this. It'll be his fourth one. Hmm. Okay. All right. Well. Um. Yeah. Either way, and then now. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. That would be his fourth. Then he'll be the only one that has won. He'll be the only one that has won four. I think. Okay. Yeah. That'll be he'll be the only one that's won four because Dwight Howard has three. I think Ben Wallace has three. Yeah. So, um, you know, like when it comes to the what's it called, the Lakers and the Warriors, I really do feel like a lot is at stakes here. You know what I'm saying? Um, if if the Warriors end up losing, they're talking about breaking up the team and all this other stuff. I don't believe that that's gonna happen right offhand. I don't believe like they're just gonna break that team up like how everybody was saying, because I think Tim Legler, he was saying that everybody think it's just gonna be so easy just to break a team like that up and everything, but and he's right about that. It's not gonna be that easy, especially when they have vouched for each other. When you talk about Steph Curry vouching for both of those guys, keeping them there, rolling with the guys that he's been rolling with. You know what I'm saying? Which by the way, is one of the reasons that I have Steph Curry. You said Kaminga is legit. Kaminga he is legit. I feel like they can build around Kaminga. He's got a few things that he can work on. Like his shot percentage. It could be a little better. But he's still young in the game. We got to understand that Kaminga is still young in the game. He still got some time to develop and everything. But I like Kaminga. I actually would like him in Philly. I'm gonna be real with you, Ted. I would like Jonathan Kaminga in in Philly. You know, um, I think he would be a good complement with not only Joel but also with Maxi. But problem is that I don't think we would have the space. But we're rocking and rolling right now. We'll just have to see. We'll have to see how we look. In the in the play in and also the playoff. Um, but yeah, the Lakers are. You say you really like Maxine. Yeah. Okay, don't put it. Come on, Brown Sugar. Maxie, not Maxine. We are living single. You gotta be doing living single up in here. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he ain't. No, he's not. Nah, he got dreadlocks, man. Dreadlocks. Nah, ain't nothing. Nah, nothing fruity about Maxie. You just let the guy play basketball, man. Oh, in the 90s kind of world, I'm glad I got my girl. Yeah. Keep your head up. What? Keep your head up. That's right. Man, come on, man. Right, so, yeah. Nah, man. Nah, Maxie's just a good, well, he's a grown man now. At that time, he was a kid. He's just a guy that love the game, man, love to play ball. I thought that was the girl's name, man. Yeah, yeah. Well, nah, it is. But when you said Maxine, I thought you were making fun of Max. Yeah, nah, that's her name. You're right, Maxine. You know who Maxine was, Brown Sugar. That was Kyle's. Her and Kyle had. They. They would go at it, and then they ended up going at. Eventually getting it in. Yeah, I missed that show though. Yeah, that was my show though. But yeah, let me talk about this situation though right here with Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. Now, of course, Draymond Green he interviewed he had Klay Thompson on the podcast, which I thought was pretty dope. Um, Klay Thompson, and I'm gonna put this link in it to the podcast if you haven't seen it in the description so that y'all can take a look at it. But pretty much Draymond asked a very candid question, and salute to Draymond for just asking the question and wanting to be real about the situation. And that's the thing you got to respect about Draymond is he doesn't run away from tough questions, and he'll have people on the show. He'll have people on the show that he truly, they probably had some friction, or they got into it before. He even had Paul Pierce on the show before. I'm waiting to see if he's gonna have somebody like Nurkic on the show. That's what I'm waiting to see. But he's had people who he's had confrontation with in the past or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I would like to see. I wonder if he'll have a sit down with Charles Barkley, because him and Charles Barkley. But him and Charles Barkley have, I think they've patched up everything since then, because uh, he's been able to sit down with Charles Barkley on TNT and all of that. But pretty much, Draymond had asked Klay Thompson if, like, when he gets ejected and when he gets suspended and stuff like that, does it make him feel some type of way? And he was talking about Klay Thompson, asking Klay Thompson this, and Klay Thompson was like, he understands who Draymond is. He told him this. He said, Draymond, we understand who you are. You are who you are. He said, you're not. And Klay Thompson kind of held back. I wish he just been more blunt about it. But he said basically that him and Steph Curry are nice guys. He said Draymond is not that nice guy, and he said whenever he's not on the floor with them, because he said he has that old school mentality, that rugged mentality that him and Steph Curry don't have. And he said whenever he's not on the floor, it's like something is missing. A piece of it is missing. Klay Thompson was spot on, and that's what I've been trying to tell everybody. So when somebody comes to me and approaches me, or I want to say Cybers was talking about this. Salute to Cybers. He was talking about what's important about Draymond. That right there is important about Draymond, because that at the end of the day, that's still his teammate. These guys are brothers. They've been through the trenches together. They've been through the highs, the lows, and everything. You know, and to me, I think it's important that they delve into that, because a lot of people have this perception of, oh yeah, Klay Thompson, he don't like Draymond, or Steph Curry, he don't like Draymond, and it's not any of that. You know, they appreciate Draymond more than you think. It's just that a lot of this stuff that we talk about, yeah, it's over the top and stuff like that. I agree with you, but if you go back and you go look over the course of time, there's been teammates that have done worse things. I'm telling you, and they'll tell you that they don't want to be involved with that player. They don't want him in the locker room. He's a cancer and stuff like that. Draymond is none of that. You haven't heard about Draymond being a cancer to the locker room or anything like that. Everybody's gonna bring that up, about him fighting Jordan Poole and stuff like that. But they're not gonna bring up the fact about Vernon Maxwell chasing Hakeem Olajuwon around, ready to stab him. They don't talk about that, do they? Have you heard of that? I'm gonna always bring up these comparisons because they always say silly stuff like, "Oh yeah, Draymond's the dirtiest player in history." Act too. You said Draymond act too feminine and emotional for me. Not a real enforcer, a bully. Well, uh, listen, KG was emotional. Okay, does that make him feminine? No. Okay, and salute to you, by the way, Seth. All right, we could keep on going with this. There are a lot more emotional players, but that doesn't necessarily make them um, feminine. Now, as far as him being a bully and an enforcer, sometimes he could do that, but at the same token, it's worked for him. Okay, we got to understand emotions are going to be high. You know what I'm saying? Hubie Brown was emotional. That doesn't make him. Well, KG was both. KG, I would say KG was more of a bully. See, when we sit up here and we talk about an enforcer, you have to learn to stay in an enforcer's body. Draymond coming to the defense of his teammates. That is an enforcer. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't think he's like my type of enforcer, like a Xavier McDaniel or Anthony Mason or Rick Mahorn. Some of these other guys. Even Alvin Robinson. A lot of people don't realize Alvin Robinson, even being a guard, he was an enforcer. Yeah, like P.J. Brown and Jamal McGlure, the Davis brothers. Yeah, and I like KG, but some of that stuff, like it was so easy to really, if you could deal with KG's trash talking, like then you're fine. But he pretty much got in everybody's head. You know what I'm saying? I, up, I, he almost had dunk. He almost got away. Duncan almost avoided talking trash back to KG, but one day I think Tim Duncan called himself snapping, and that's when they ended up. But all the time he used to blow in what's his name? He used to do the stuff that Lance Stevenson used to do, blowing in his ear, talking trash. But if you notice, actually KG has a profound respect for Tim Duncan because they were complete opposite. I used to like them guys go at it because that was like the yin and the yang kind of. Um, you know, what's his name was seen as the villain, KG, and Tim Duncan was seen as the hero. You said KG made a disrespectful comment about Tim Duncan's late wife on. Said I like him, but McDice punked him. Yeah, I didn't hear about that. I had to go check that out. The only thing I've heard about, KG has said some stuff like, with the whole Honey Nut Cheerio thing, and he's gotten into it with, multiple players and stuff like that. I think there was one time when him and he got into it with Zebo before, you know what I'm saying? But I never heard of that because those guys, they had to, they were on Adidas together. They actually had to do a camp together and stuff. It would be him, T Mac, KG. When I'm talking about Tim Duncan and stuff. Okay, I'll go check it out, Ted. Just I don't know, man. You've been all right the last couple ones, man. But when you said Avery Johnson was still coaching for Alabama, man, I don't know, man. You kind of lost a little faith in me there, man. I said, I said, damn, man, I must be, something must be, I must be going senile or something, because I thought Avery Johnson, I saw him commentating. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, Avery Johnson, you sure have changed. Nah, but it's all right, Ted. Hey, we make our mistakes. Hey, but you know what? I will say this though, man. Um, you as much as people talk, I guarantee you. I bet you Brown Sugar would take Draymond on the Boston Celtics in a heartbeat. I bet you you'll take him on the Boston Celtics in a heartbeat. Everybody that's always, I'm not talking about y'all, but I'm saying the people that don't really like Draymond, like the people that don't like the Draymonds, the PJ Tuckers, the Pat Beverleys, hell, even Jaja Pachulia, with his dirty ass. You would want them guys like that on your team, though. Yeah, you would want guys like that on your team, but you hate to play against those type of guys. You know what I'm saying? It was the same thing with Ron Artest. You never seen. Okay, listen, Ron Artest was dirty. And I like Ron Artest, but Ron Artest was way dirtier than Draymond Green. Bruce Bowen was way dirtier than Draymond Green. Bill Laimbeer, I don't need to get into the stuff that he was doing. Man, Ron Artest elbowed James Harden in the temple. If he would have elbowed him hard enough, man, James Harden could have died, man. Like when you hit a person that hard on the side of the temple. Lou? Nah, this ain't Lou. This isn't Lou, JMJ. This is straight to the point, brother. How you doing, man? North Carolina. Shout out to Carolina, man. Petey Pablo. Take your shirt off. Swing it like a helicopter. You said Draymond, a WWE heel of the NBA. Man, listen, bro. Hey, really, man, y'all really need to go look at, like, compare Draymond, what Draymond be doing to some of these other guys that were doing the stuff that they were doing. Right now, the GOAT of dirty play is Bill Laimbeer. That's sad. We got to have a GOAT of dirty play. Hey, JMJ old school. JMJ know what I'm talking about. JMJ know about that era. JMJ is a Chicago Bulls fan. JMJ, let me ask you something, JMJ, who was worse, Bill Laimbeer or Draymond Green? Just go ahead and put it in the chat, brother. Put it in the chat. Just go ahead and put it in the chat. Who was worse, Draymond Green or Bill Laimbeer? Me and JMJ done had talks about old school basketball for hours on the stream. It's about a tie. Come on, JMJ. Well, that's his opinion. It can't be about a tie. In my opinion, Bill Laimbeer is worse. I never seen. When you got to realize, Bill Laimbeer was undercutting people. He was like pretty much body slamming people to the floor and stuff like that, taking people's feet out. You know what I'm saying? Bumping people to where they can really mess up their knee. Elbowing people in the eye socket and stuff like that, man. Getting people in the throat. Snatching guys. You know how, like, when you're getting a rebound and you just pull a guy down just to get the rebound and stuff like that. Like, that's dirty, but you don't see Draymond doing any of that stuff. I mean, you'll see Draymond just be out of control. You know what I'm saying? And he'll do little antics and stuff like that. Like with the whole thing that happened with Grant Williams, Grant Williams being all up under him and stuff like that. Hell, Grant Williams can be kind of pesty. Derrick Brooks, you've never seen Derrick Brooks what he did to LeBron James. That was really, really dirty. LeBron James could have had a very serious injury. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't mad at JMJ, man. I mean, that's how you feel. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying from what I've surveyed, and don't get me started on guys like Rick Mahorn, um, guys like that, man. They're much dirtier players than Draymond over time. You know, you gotta worry about when you play against a guy like Bruce Bowen, you gotta worry about if you could. You said Bill Laimbeer is a flopper too. Yeah, him and Vladi Divac. I guarantee you this though. If Bill Laimbeer, man, if Bill Laimbeer was less dirty and he actually, he had a little bit more to his offensive repertoire, Bill Laimbeer would have been a nice player because he could shoot. He could shoot from the three, and he could also knock that shot down. But it's just like, man, when you look at Bill Laimbeer, man, it's just like you can't get past some of the stuff that he does. I try to look past some of a guy's flaws or whatever they got, that may hold him back as a player or whatnot. Yeah, Bill Laimbeer did flop a lot though. But like I said, man, Draymond asking Klay Thompson those questions, man, it was really good. I'm glad that they did talk about that. Um, because we know that Klay Thompson doesn't. They couldn't play with anybody else. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It like trying to replace Draymond with them. It would be very difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like to replace them. And I'm not saying that Draymond would he go to another team and be able to do what he's doing possibly, but also we got to look at it at the same point. Would Draymond be able to play with somebody other than Steph Curry or other than a Klay Thompson? But like I said, man, don't get me wrong. A lot of the stuff that Draymond brings to the table and stuff, I don't particularly agree with, man. Like in terms of the antics and all that other stuff. That Jordan Poole situation, I know I've talked about it time and time again, but I'll stand on this, and I'm gonna stand on business, and I'm gonna keep on saying it. Draymond was not wrong in that situation, man. That was a situation where emotions were high. They fought. Yeah, Poole had it coming. And when you talk heavy shit, you better be ready to you better be able to handle the repercussions and the consequences of what may come after that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're sitting there trolling or something like that, and you say something about a guy. If you say something to a guy, that is disrespectful, you better be ready to scuffle. And everybody wants to look at Draymond as a big person in the situation. Oh, it's your fault that Jordan Poole, um, had ended up playing the way that he's playing. playing horrible, to say the least. Well, okay. Did y'all know that the Lakers Showtime team, they were constantly getting into fights? I mean, I'm pretty sure Ted knows that. You know, if you're a Lakers fan, and JMJ knows what I'm talking about, if you're a Lakers fan, that locker room was horrible. Okay? Everybody, Magic and Kareem, okay? Worthy, all of them, they were getting fights in practices. James Worthy has been on record and has said they have literally had fist fights. But see, y'all look at the Showtime Lakers as, oh, they're so prestigious. Nothing has taken place. These guys are so good and studious. Man, you walk up in there, man, you have a harsh reality check. If you're thinking that, these guys are, yeah, right. The Boston Celtics always got into it in the locker room. The Charlotte Hornets back in the days with LJ and Alonzo Mourning always got into it. Okay, don't get me started on the Portland Trailblazers. Ruben Patterson and Zach Randolph were fighting to the point where Ruben Patterson was about to kill Zach Randolph. You want me to keep going, and y'all think, oh, Draymond, he got into a scuffle. Bad boy Pistons, there was a rule. If you had a problem with somebody, you fought in the locker room. That's what Bill Lambert, if you go watch the documentary, they said that we had fights in practice all the time. Steph and Klay not defending Poole says a lot. Well, Poole is, everybody wants to be, give him a chance and stuff like that. Man, you worried about paying for the WAP for Ice Spice so that you can live out your pipe dream instead of being focused on the daggone game. That's why sometimes you weren't in formation. Go look at Poole and taking some of the shots that he took, doing some of the stuff that he did. Now, Poole was a good player. He was a good, solid player. There was sometimes when he showed up, I thought Poole was emerging, especially when he had going for that, that contract and everything. But then after that, they threw him a bag and stuff like that. After that, his play diminished. And then what put the icing on the cake, more lighter fluid to the fire, was when Draymond and him got into the scuffle. You're going to get talked about. Listen, there's been times when, you got to look at it like high school, right? When you got into a fight and let's say you didn't get knocked out, but you stood your ground and everything, and you got a busted lip or something like that. Okay, in high school, they're going to be like, you got beat up and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. You got to be able to take it on the chin, and you got to man up. You're going to let a little scuffle ruin your mentality? You would love to see. I was thinking the same thing. Oh, my goodness. They must not like him. Very toxic. I would love to see Bill Laimbeer versus Draymond Green. Ice Spice played him friend zone. Now, see, this is the thing. I don't think that the Warriors' environment was toxic per se, because if we're gonna talk about toxic, then let's talk about some of these other locker rooms that were toxic back in the days. The Portland Trailblazers, that was a very toxic environment. The Los Angeles Lakers between Kobe. And as a matter of fact, shout out to Too Raw for TV. Shout out to Too Raw for TV, man. Man, he be finding this stuff, man. I don't know, man. He's like a wizard with finding some of this stuff. Go sub to Too Raw. Too Raw was talking about how Isaiah Ryder was paid by Shaq 10 G's to do something to Kobe. You don't think that that's toxic? You have to play with a guy and you worried about potentially this guy injuring you or hurting you or starting stuff with you. The Bulls was toxic too. I mean, Michael Jordan punched Steve Kerr. I mean, this is like everybody's got to stop thinking that these locker rooms are oh hey how you doing stuff like that. I remember one time, man. They'd probably be mad at me for telling this though, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it, man. We was at a tournament game, and one of the older guys on the team, man, we had got into it on the bench or whatever, man. And at halftime, well, before halftime, he was like, "Yeah, you want to go to the locker room? Yeah, then let's go." We were right there in the locker room, getting it in. Pause. I'm talking about fighting because they were talking trash on the bench and stuff, and I had to sub in. They called me to sub in. It was time for me to get in the game, but this dude had pissed me off. We was in the locker room or whatever, man. One of the guys that, man, he rushed in. One of my teammates, man, he was like 6'8", man. He grabbed me, and then that's what everybody had rushed. Everybody pretty much that was on the bench. It was like four or five guys on the bench. They rushed to the locker room, and the coach was like, "Where the hell is everybody going?" They were still in the game, the buzzer that sound. Man, yeah, hey, and you know what, Ted, I'm glad you brought that up about Jim Jackson and Jason Kidd. Shout out to Jim Jackson. I remember I saw Jim Jackson one year. I saw him at Hooters. It was at the restaurant Hooters. Jim Jackson. It was a couple of days ago. He was on what's his name show? He used to be on ESPN. I forget that guy's name. It's not Keith Overman, but he was pretty much explaining his side of the deal that happened with that whole Tony Braxton and Jason Kidd mess and stuff. Well, he pretty much was putting it on record that he never. The way that the media was trying to make everything seem as if though there was friction because of Tony Braxton and stuff like that. When he explained the whole thing, man, it did not even sound like what they were putting in the media. And that's what I'm saying. The media can be the driving force of breaking these teams apart. Now, there was some friction between them two, but the one thing that I did gather from Jim Jackson is the fact that he put out there that they never got a full season to play with one another. They never played a full season with one another because of injuries or whatever the case was with the team, because he ended up getting hurt. Jim Jackson ended up getting hurt one year. I think he broke his ankle, and he never was the same after he left Dallas. The Mario story, Apollo got beat out. Nah, nah. I would have said, yeah, man, he got me. Not that time, man. Now we going at it though. They had to break us up, man. They jumped on. Well, my guy, he had, because he was from Louisiana. He was like 6'8", 6'9". He's like, nah, nah, boy, nah, boy. But yeah, it was. Yeah, the media is like a high school lunchroom. And that's what they treat the NBA. These guys are grown men. They got real problems. These guys are gonna, some of these guys are sleeping with the same women. You know what I'm saying? They go to the same parties. These guys gamble. I mean, what's it called? Was about to, who was it? Russell Westbrook had got into it with Paul George over gambling. Over playing. I think it was a card game or something like that. These guys, man. are competitive not on the court, but they're competitive off the court. They don't want you to get one up on them in anything. That's why, with the whole, I think was it Malik Sealy? It was either Malik Sealy or Bobby Fields. One of those guys. I think it was Malik Sealy. They were racing home, and I think I forget which teammate regrets it to this day for them racing home or something like that, and ended up dying in a car crash because of it. But that's how they would do. They would race each other. You know what I'm saying? Who could get there the fastest? I put 100K on it. That you get fat. I could get there fast. It's just a competitive, or like let's say, um, and don't be upset when I say this, brown sugar. But okay, let's say, hey Ted, I bet you brown sugar would talk to me first. You know what I'm saying? And they'll bet like 100K on that or something like that. Like, or hey Ted, I bet you I could eat you I could eat your food faster than you could eat my food or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. You know, just they'll compete on anything, or I could outdrink you, or I could outsmoke you, or I could mess around with this many girls in a week than you can, or something like that. That's how these guys compete. It's not only on the floor, but it's off the court too. And the reason why I know that is because too, that they had a documentary. I think it was called Broke or something like that, and they were talking about that type of stuff. Yeah, it was Malik Sealy and David Wesley. There you go, David Wesley, and they would race home and stuff like that. But the moral of the story, basically, what I'm trying to say is that everybody just thinks that these locker rooms are it's all peace and quiet and stuff like that, and it's a complete opposite. I guess the best reality of what a locker room where you see in a professional setting in a locker room would be any given Sunday. No, I was talking about eating the food. You know what I'm saying? Pause, pause, pause. I'm talking about. I bet you, like, if I had barbecue on my plate and Ted had his little ribs on his plate or whatever, I bet you, man, I could eat my chicken faster than you can, something like that, some silly stuff like that. But the best, the best, I guess, example of a locker room that one could probably say, okay, this is how it is any given Sunday. Any given Sunday, especially because I've been in both locker rooms. I've been in a football environment. Football is way, way, way more intense. Sometimes you'll walk into a football locker room and they'll just ignore two linemen fighting with blood all on their face and stuff like that. They'll just ignore them fighting and stuff like that. You know how like you have a big old circle around these guys and they're fighting and stuff like that. They'll be like, oh man, they just tussling right now. They'll be done in a minute. And that was like my first introduction to being in a football locker room. I'm like, damn, y'all not watching this? So people are gonna blow stuff out of proportion. They're gonna say, oh yeah, well, Draymond, he's the big bully and all of this other stuff, and I think it's a whole bunch of nonsense, just in my personal opinion. They just wanna have something that they could talk about. They wanna make Jordan Poole. They want to make Jordan Poole out to be like this guy that never did no wrong. And the truth of the matter is, we listen. If you would have heard what Jordan Poole has said, 9 times out of 10, everybody would have probably swung on him. You know, that's just like I was having a conversation. Shout out to the brother Man Down, man. Man Down Sports, man. Go check out his page. Go check out his channel. You said Draymond play like the old heads used to play back in the day. Yeah, you said Poole causing problems with the Wizards. He was doing good for a minute. He started doing good. He started to kind of show life a little bit, but I think that they're gonna probably just go ahead and move away from Poole. I mean, he's not benefiting the organization at all. I wouldn't want Jordan Poole in Philly. I wouldn't want him there. But yeah, you're on point with that, Sugar. Now, would I want Draymond now? That's kind of tough. I would kind of want the Draymond, like, a 15, 16 Draymond. I would like to have that Draymond. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't get Draymond now just because of the back. He's talking about his back issues again. And that's what concerns me. And I'm pretty sure, if Draymond was to say, hey, I want to go to the Lakers or I want to go to the Celtics, they'll do everything that they can because they want guys there with championship mentality on their roster. Now, I know a lot of people would be like, "Oh no, I don't bring him over here and stuff like that," but you'd be a fool not to take a guy like that. I'm saying if it was a younger Draymond that didn't have um, as many problems as he having. I would love to see Draymond, Kyrie, and Steph together. Whoa, 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 whoo! That Steph and Kyrie together, man. I don't know how that will work out. It looks good. It looks good on from a marketing standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Because you have two superior scorers. You have both all three of them are champions. Both of them are supremely gifted ball handlers. You know what I'm saying? Some people say that Steph Curry is a better ball handler than Kyrie. Some people say that Kyrie is a better ball handler than Steph Curry. Steph Curry got some moves. I think that yeah, it would. Yeah. That's your dream. That's your dream trio, Brown Sugar. The Dream Weaver. That's your dream trio, huh? Yeah, if I could have anybody team up together, you say I like Stephen Curry, Bags, um, and Luca. Listen, man, I just got this big feeling that Luca is not going to show up. I mean, he's gonna show up, but the Mavericks are not gonna They're pretty much not going to go anywhere. Um, like the question is, do you see? Can you see OKC losing to Dallas? Okay. Can you see SGA losing to SGA and Chet and all everybody else that's on that team? Can you see OKC losing to Dallas? Wow. Hmm. So, are you basing that on playoff experience and championship experience, or are you basing that on the fact? Are you basing that on the fact that they're young? What leads you to believe that OKC will lose to Dallas? Is it because of inexperience? What you think? Okay, all right, yeah, I figured that's what it was because somebody else said the same thing. Okay, can you see a Dallas beating Minnesota with the way that Anthony Edwards is playing? This is what I told everybody. This is what I've told Herm. Shout out to the brother Herm, Memphis all day. Uh, he knows how I feel about this. I don't see anybody on Dallas. Okay, let's just take Dallas. I don't see anybody. Anthony Edwards could pretty much break all of the defenses down. The only thing that you would have your best chance at defeating Minnesota if you make Anthony Edwards primarily just a jump shooter, because he's got it. Of course, when he's on, but also he could be a little bit streaky because he shoots a low percentage. Now he's picked it up here in the last several games, but as far as him getting to the rack, him having moves, him breaking a defense down, there's nobody. I don't think there's anybody that could contain Anthony Edwards, with the exception of maybe a Denver. And I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I just don't see anybody stopping Anthony Edwards, and I feel like he wants this stage right now, um, especially caught with Karl Anthony Towns. Uh, that whole situation, I feel like he wants to show people that yeah, his hops are scary, but see, the thing about it is we don't want to listen. Honestly, that's the last thing that we want to see from Anthony Edwards. We want to see him actually develop and mature in this type of setting, because this is his third year going into the playoffs, and we don't want the narrative to be pushed is, oh yeah, he'll be the face of the league if he could get past, the first round. He'll be the face of the league, but can he get deep in the playoffs? We don't want him being another T Mac. T Mac could never get. He could never get any. He could never get get deep in the playoffs. But he was a tremendous scorer. Very athletic. You know what I'm saying? T Mac had a bag and all this other stuff. We don't want him ending up like. We don't want another Dame Dollar. So the West is very, very, very scary. You know what I'm saying? Plus you have you got, I'm serious though. You got three teams out there that's fighting for that spot, and I think it's Denver, OKC, and Minnesota. They're all fighting for that number one spot. And if Denver's got home court advantage, it's gonna be very tough because you got to play in the mile high. And a lot of teams. That's another thing that we got to get scientific with talking about. Other teams, they got to play in the mile high, and they're not used to that high altitude. They're used to it. Jokic can play in it. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Gordon can play in it. Jamal Murray, I'm about to say Jamal Mashburn. Jamal Murray, he could play in it. You know, KCP, he could play in it. You know, MJP, MPJ, he could play in it. And the rest of the tandem, Jeff Green, everybody that's on that team, they could play in it, with the exception of the other teams. Yeah, and the crowd too. Yeah, that's a good point too. Their crowd. Denver's got a very slept on crowd too. The crowd, they be rocking in Denver. I guess it's the good weed that they smoking out there. You know, Denver got that good weed out there. I would say Denver is a right. You know they smoking on hay in the middle. Yeah, but nah, it's gonna be. I'm excited about. I'm actually excited about this play-in, and also like because at first now that we have a play-in now. At first I didn't like it. I ain't gonna lie, I was like the get off my line type. But I can see now you got to talk about it, and now that it kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat, if that makes any sense. Now you anticipating, oh, what could potentially happen? Could this team get bounced out, or could this team end up going home? You know what I'm saying? It's a fear factor involved with the playing. Now, at first, I was like, man, skip it. I still kind of want to get rid of the play-in, but we are here now. There ain't nothing that we could do about it. So, yeah, we'll have to see what takes place, man. But going back to the initial thing that I was talking about with the Lakers and with the Warriors, um, the Warriors the Warriors are under less pressure than the Lakers. The Lakers have to get it done. Um, we know that LeBron doesn't want to be in no A seed. He's gonna want to be in that 7 seed, and he's gonna want to have a easy road to the playoffs, because if they face Denver, that's it. Denver's not under any pressure too, by the way, unless somebody, and I'm knocking on wood, unless somebody gets hurt. Other than that, they're not under any pressure. If the Lakers play Denver, even though that they're the champions, they're the defending champions. You said NBA will cheat for LeBron. No, they won't. Nah, they're not doing that. Hey, we thought that the NCAA was gonna, Ted. They're really trying to move. They're trying to move away from all that. Plus, you already heard the reports that Bronny's gonna go ahead and return back to school. So they're not gonna try to put any pressure in putting LeBron in there and all that other stuff. Listen, Ted. The reality is, man, is they're trying to move on from LeBron. Okay, I know it's great to market, Oh yeah, he's 39 years old, being able to do this and do that, but it's time to move on. And I don't think that the NBA is doing it. The complaint. They're looking at the ratings. They're looking at the parity. You know, just like the NCAA, you thought that they were going to go ahead and they were going to put this team in there and that team in there. And guess what? UConn ended up winning. You said Brown is old. Yeah, I mean, of course he is. Uh, and I give him credit. He's a good in shape 39-year-old, but at the same token, man, you got to be able to sell. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to market him too. But hey guys, man, I gotta roll out. Thank y'all for pulling up. Make sure you hit the like button, sub to the channel too. Also hit the notifications as well. Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Shouts out to the whole Lions Den basketball and boxing communities. Until then, man, salute to y'all. I holler at y'all.